And welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the show. If you're all new, please do consider subscribing and hitting that like button as it helps the channel grow. This is your Manchester United versus Chelsea match reaction in the semi-final. It was the Reds who finally took their first L in about 20 games to Chelsea in quite embarrassing fashion. 3-1 at the end of the day is how it ended at Wembley Stadium. An own goal from Harry Maguire. Not so sure if it was a beautiful goal by Mason Mount, but it was a really good goal considering how far it was, but De Gea should be saving that. And of course the goal by Giroud, 11 minutes into added time in the first half. Kind of a bizarre game, and then Bruno Fernandes obviously getting the penalty and scoring. So as I said, smash that like button. And don't be shy in the comments down below, gentlemen. What were your thoughts on the result and the game and how it played out today?
I mean, obviously in the bigger picture for me, I was kind of calm. I didn't mind us losing today. Obviously it hurts, and the manner in which we lost today is actually ridiculously horrible. But United, they've got a mentality problem, and that defensively, ever since Bruno came in, it's like, before Bruno came in, defensively we were good, and then Bruno comes in, now we're good at offense, and now, defense is just slacked down, everyone looks running to the ground, this team.
I think it's very
got
easy.
No spine.
I think it's very easy to blame it on that. Van Dijk said it in an interview as well. The interviewer asked him, is the reason why you're playing poorly because you guys have won the title and you've let your foot off the gas? And he said, and I quote, it's easy to blame it on that, but honestly, we just weren't good enough in the last few minutes because Arsenal scored off 2 errors. Well, you look at Chelsea's goals. How many of them were actually individual brilliance, and how many of them were once again, just saying, how many of them were mistakes by De Gea? Now, I understand we didn't play that well today, but why does the whole team get blamed when one individual cost us the game? Answer me that question.
Yeah. I don't think it was one individual. For me, it was that whole defense and De Gea.
But okay. Mason Mount getting through on the counter-attack. Maguire and Lindelof are never chasing that down, no matter how positive they are.
They were right.
No matter how many titles they win.
Should have put it. He was literally pointing at the ball while Mason Mount is running towards De Gea. It was ridiculous, and no one put a foot in. It was absolutely shambles.
Because Mason Mount was like a yard away from him. He wouldn't have caught up. We've spoken about this, Shawnee. Maguire and Lindelof are slow. That's why Oli played a back 5 today, and that's why Bailey played. And when Bailey went out of the game, defensively we're shit. You know why? Because Lindelof and Maguire do not have the pace to cut the angles, the long-range angles. They either have to sit deep or push up, and whichever one they do, they're going to be vulnerable either towards the break or long-range shots like the one against Mason Mount. That's not a mentality issue. That's just because our defense isn't good enough. De Gea, you can say, is a mentality issue because clearly this man has something wrong in the big games. You telling me Bruno Fernandes played badly today because he has a mentality issue as a professional footballer. You telling me Tony Martial didn't score today because he has a mentality issue. You telling me, okay, Rashford played badly today, but you're telling me that's a mentality issue. Okay, was it a mentality issue against Sheffield? Was it a mentality issue against Spurs when he didn't play that well? Was it also a mentality? Where's this mentality issue when we've gone 19 games unbeaten? I personally don't understand this. How can a team that's gone 19 games unbeaten have a mentality issue? Like, why is that the only thing we're blaming it on? Because the Giroud goal, that's got nothing to do with mentality. That is a ball coming in from a cross, and I've said this before, Wan-Bissaka, ever since the restart, is not closing down crosses very quickly. Who was it against that Wan-Bissaka let so many crosses? It was Palace, right? Where they scored an offside goal off a cross, and it wasn't the first time they crossed it through. That's not a mentality issue. The man's tired because he's been running to the ground. I understand that Manchester United do have a mentality issue, but we can't always blame it on that. Sometimes you just have to say this team ain't good enough. You can't just blame it on mentality.
This team is definitely enough. And also, I think Oli deserves some of the blame today as well. I find it very naive that he thought he could smack Lampard again for the 4th time in a row using the same tactics. Lampard is not stupid. Lampard would learn, and he did, and he schooled Oli today.
But did Lampard beat us? Did Chelsea dominate the game when we were playing a back 5, or did they dominate the game more when we moved to back 4? Answer that honestly.
They dominated both. They dominated us both.
But which way did they dominate more? In the second half or the first half?
But there was nothing else. There was nothing else. We couldn't do a back 5. We couldn't do a back 5. Bailly broke his head.
So you're saying Bailly broke his head because of a back 5?
No, I'm just saying we couldn't play a back five ever since after
Why?
that. So
Why?
because we can't just bring Forster Mensah and then you have just wing backs everywhere
Oh, so
defend.
you're saying
It
it's
was
Ole Gunnar
horrible.
Solskjaer's fault because we didn't have the depth to play back five. You're not saying the back five doesn't work as a system in general. Can I clarify that?
I don't think it worked today, though. I don't think it
Yeah,
worked.
I'm
Look,
saying Oli shouldn't have played the back five today. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. And
Are
I'm
you saying
he
Ole shouldn't have played the back
tackled.
five because we don't have squad depth? Or are you saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shouldn't have played the back five because it doesn't work? Because those are two very different things. Because you
He
just
shouldn't have
said,
played the back five today because of squad depth and the naivety. Because Lampard would have learned.
okay, well. Here's an interesting stat, genius. We conceded 2 goals in the back four.
Yeah,
We
but the
conceded
heads
2
were
goals in
already
the back four.
gone. Like you can
We
see,
conceded 2
these
goals in
guys
the back
gave
four.
up. These
We
guys
conceded,
gave up.
yeah, but we conceded 2 goals in the back four. Genius. We made more chances and
got
the game was more level when we had a
All
back
I'm saying
five.
is Oli got school today. United got school today. This team today was.
We did, but you can't just blame it on the back five.
Yeah,
You
look-
can't just blame it on mentality. Because we were
Look,
crap when we
we
played a
didn't-
back four, anyways.
we didn't play that well, but David had drank us today. I'm sorry, he did,
Oh,
and I'm putting most of the blame on him. For the
He
first
did.
one,
3 of the goals they scored were David De Gea's fault. Again.
The first
Chelsea
one.
didn't do anything amazing. But I digress.
the first one, I kind of forgave him because like he should have saved that, but then you can see it happens. The second one, like
That was
no,
disgusting.
I
That was
feel like
disgusting.
he should have saved that ball. I don't know what's going on there. So it's irrelevant how we played. 2 of the goals were his fault. So
Yes.
that
That's
takes
what
the
I
game
said
away from us.
against Southampton. People are like, oh, Southampton played well. Oh, Danny Ings is the best striker since bloody fat Ronaldo in Brazil who won the Ballon d'Or. No, come on, dude. We drew to Southampton, because Pogba didn't look behind him when he received the ball and because Maguire was marking Wan-Bissaka instead of actually marking an opponent. Once again today, we lost because Mason Mount took a shot from far and De Gea let it in. That is nobody's fault except maybe Maguire for not letting him have the space. The goal for Giroud. Giroud did exceptionally well to get into that position. We know how Giroud is. But it went straight to De Gea and he fumbled it. So it's like, on the one hand, Chelsea did play well. But on the other hand, we played well as well. And can I remind you that we actually created more clear-cut chances when we were playing a back five? Because in the second half, we didn't create any chances. The closest thing we came to a
I
chance
didn't like
was
that.
when...
I didn't like.
Look,
I didn't like.
I know most United fans don't like the back five. Most United fans don't like the back five. But if you think we played better in the second half with the back four versus in the first half with the back five, you're playing yourself. You're playing
We didn't,
yourself.
but I still think we played very bad at the back five. Look, I understand why you played the back five. I can see the logic behind it. But the problem I have with it is that we haven't played it in a very long time. And you could see that. And I saw problems I saw problems I saw earlier in the season with this back five. And it's in transition. And we couldn't get out. And Chelsea was smart. They weren't open. They knew when they opened against us, all the games we played them, we smashed them. So it was a combination of us not being able to move up the pitch and them being very rigid and slowing the game down. And it just didn't work in our favor. And we couldn't get out. And yes, Bayer got injured, and that's the reason we changed. But I wanted us to change. And then in the second half as well, Chelsea didn't throw everything. They were very smart about how they played this game. And I was talking to someone, and I was saying, like, I'm worried that Chelsea might play on the counter in the second half. And that's what they did. They didn't waste their time playing some flair football. They just sat back, were tight at the back, pressured really well, and countered us. And we had nothing. We had no response.
Wow, guys, I must have been watching a different game because apparently if we had played a back four that entire game, we would have played better. Silly me. It's not like we created more chances when we had a back five. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about.
I just think we would have been more comfortable from the start.
Yeah, guys, apparently I don't know football. I think we should have played a back four today. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff, you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you're shocked as I am.
I'd rather us be more comfortable.
I'm not
and
disagreeing.
if we don't win because we're playing with lesser players, it's fine. But I feel like starting with the back five, I understand it, but it was not the goal.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. Apparently, I just don't know football because clearly everybody's disagreeing with me on the show. Apparently, we shouldn't have played a back five. I can hear the argument that we haven't played in a while, and I also am a firm believer that you should never switch formations when you haven't played in a while. But at the same time, we've beaten Chelsea 3 times this season by playing a back five, and it's worked in the past. And you cannot fault Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for what happened today. Today was a slip of a combination of mentality issues and things that had nothing to do with the system. For example, in that second half and in that first half, how many times did Manchester United give away the ball in transition and make stupid mistakes? Specifically Rashford and James. I don't care
We did this against
who you are, who you work for, how many teams you've coached, how many desks you've sat in, and how many things, like how many pieces of crap you've been fed through your earpiece to say on air. You have to agree that some of the issues that Manchester United had today had nothing to do with the system, especially goalkeeper errors. That has nothing to do with the formation. So you minus 2 goals where David De Gea has made a mistake. That game is 1-1. And all of a sudden, the back five doesn't seem like a good decision. But again, I digress because apparently I don't know football.
In terms of the system, it's weird because before this whole run, we were playing too slow. I think now we're trying to find the final ball too quickly, and we're not finding the balance against Sheffield and all of them. The smaller teams, they're not good enough to hold us back. So we ran over them playing like that. But now we need to find this balance where we can slow down again. And we struggled with this against Palace, and today it bit us again because we were not able to take control of the midfield when we needed to.
So you think playing a back four would have been the answer to that?
Well, yeah, not the answer to that, but in terms of the back four thing, I feel like we would have been more comfortable. We're going on a run. I think just keep it the way it is because it's working so successfully. Don't just change fella out of nowhere.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, guys. I can't argue with that. So let us know in the comments down below what you think should have been played. But, we move on. Player ratings. De Gea.
Oh, here we go.
This is going to be hard. Like, I feel like...
No.
It's not going to be hard. Here we go. It's not going to be hard.
There's nothing hard.
We ought to play
There's nothing hard.
Lingard. And Romero should have played today. This is where Romero gets his games. He should have played today. Fuck De Gea. -10. Boost. Fuck him. He's a club legend. But fuck's sakes, I'm done with this dickhead, fam. His near post covering
today.
Old dick. Fuck's sakes.
Like, my sister would have been better in goals, guys. Like, to be honest, my sister, like, Manchester United, if you're listening, I got a really good goalkeeper in the house who won't just let it in an FA Cup semi-final.
You want to put it there near post.
No. I don't think Manchester United have a mentality issue. I think certain players in that dressing room have a mentality issue. 400 appearances, he's going to be a future club legend, whatever, especially if he wins the trophy. But David De Gea, ever since negotiating that new contract, has not been the same player. His body language hasn't been the same. His passion hasn't been the same. What he says in interviews and just his general demeanor and like, you don't need to be a freaking psychologist or a rocket scientist to know when somebody's not feeling, themselves. If you've been watching, we all watch football, and you should never undermine your own opinion. And if you're a Manchester United fan and you've been watching De Gea, you must be living up your own arse if you don't think this guy's changed in some way, mentality-wise, because it's always in the big games. It's not the same De Gea, bro, because, like, on the one hand, when he conceded a goal against Everton, I was like, you know what, fair play. De Gea's never been good in the air. I'll give it to him. Maguire and Lindelof should be doing better. Okay, we play Everton again, this time at Goodison Park. De Gea makes a mistake again near post. I'm like, okay, maybe instead of looking at De Gea, we should be looking at our back four and why people are getting into positions. Okay, cool. Fast forward, after all the mistakes that De Gea has made. Fast forward, Mason Mount on the edge of the box. You've just come back from halftime. There's no excuses there. Like, he hit it straight at you.
You look like
he hit it straight at you.
You look like you wanted to sabotage us.
Yeah,
it's
like he's getting paid. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I hate to sound like an Arsenal fan because, if you want conspiracy theories, go to AFTV. Personally, I don't believe in blaming referees and all that crap because I'm not an Arsenal fan who ultimately celebrates whenever their rival loses because they're too crap to win a trophy, ain't it? But, I think with De Gea, my point with this whole rant is he has a mentality issue and his head is bigger than his fucking football skills and what he's actually achieved. His head is bigger. You know what De Gea is? De Gea's got the mentality of someone like Zlatan or Ronaldo, but he actually doesn't have the trophies to have that kind of head. Like, this he's way too big for his boots. And he's one of my favorite players, so it's a shame.
Yeah, no,
But
it is a
he's
shame, and
way
like
too good.
it's a difficult situation because like obviously we have Henderson, and we can bring him back in, but you can't just sell De Gea. Like you can't
No,
just sell, especially
no.
this market. You can't just
The
sell him.
answer, the answer is not for me. The answer is never to just bring in Henderson on loan, because then you've got to keep on 400 grand per week, who is just sitting and doing nothing. The keeper position isn't something you can share. Some clubs like to share, but that leads to inconsistency. There's one keeper in a team. That's just the way it is. That's why it's rough to be a keeper. But with De Gea, I just think he needs to get his attitude sorted out. And it's not just him, but he's one of the players in that dressing room who needs to get his attitude sorted out, because this is unacceptable. And if not, he needs to get dropped. But I don't completely agree with him sitting on the bench, because that's another player we have on 400 grand per week. We might as well use him, because, I mean, let's be honest, Romero has made mistakes in the few games that he's played. And yes, he's been a phenomenal keeper, but against what sides? Against what sides?
True, but I feel like Romero won't make those type of mistakes personally. And I feel like with De Gea, it's always been that he's a good acrobatic keeper, but then he fumbles the ball. But I feel like over the last few months or last few years,
It's become
exaggerated so much. Yeah.
The thing is with Romero is he hasn't proven himself as a first-team keeper. That's the problem. And I understand why people want him to get a chance, but I'm like, this guy hasn't proven himself. He came to Manchester United as a second goalkeeper. That's what he is. Like, Romero wasn't an amazing keeper who deserved first-team football when we bought him. He was always a second keeper. It's like if Tony Martial starts playing badly and everyone's like, start Igalo. And it's like, hold on, we only brought Igalo in as a replacement. So, like, don't confuse a player's role. Romero's one of the best second keepers in the world, but the teams he plays against are rubbish. Absolute rubbish. And that doesn't mean his job is easy.
Seriously, like, he's one of my favorite players at United, but I'm starting to understand if people want him to be dropped, really, because he's costing us so much now.
If
so
he gets
many
dropped,
points.
it should be for Henderson, not Romero. That's all I'm saying.
We're out of the FA Cup final now, and basically because of him. So it's just
It's his
weird.
fault.
He's keeping his place at a club that's so big.
Because it's because of what he's done. People think you can just drop. It's because of what he's done. Like, if you know anything about Manchester United, you don't just get dropped for one bad season or a few bad seasons if you've been a legend of the club for a long time. Especially not with someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a manager, whether you like it or not. This is not my opinion of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's evidence to support this. Look at how many chances Lingard got. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trusts someone, he's willing to give them as many chances as they need until he feels like they're done. But once they're done, because Lingard didn't even make the bench today in it. So, I respect it about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I don't think De Gea should just be dropped. I think if he's going to be dropped, he should be dropped for someone who's going to be a promising keeper for the future and will command that role like all the great Manchester United keepers that have come before. Romero is old, and Romero doesn't really have a future in him. Romero is in decline. Romero is not going to get any better. Should Romero get a chance to start? Yeah, let's see what happens, but not right now. You don't just promote your second keeper in the depth of at the end of a season that's so important to Manchester United's future. That's not how you do things. We spoke about not changing systems and dilly-dallying and doing things off the cuff. And I think, or promoting Romero after he's barely played football in the last 3 months. You think he's going to be better than De Gea? You're smoking more pot than some of the biggest potheads on the planet. Because the Romero I know is just the second keeper, and that's all he will ever be. But that's just my opinion.
Would you play Romero for the last 2 games of the season?
No, I would bring back Henderson and play Henderson. No, I would not play Romero in the West Ham game. I would not play Romero in the Leicester game. I would play Romero in the Europa League, but not in the West Ham and Leicester game. He hasn't played. It's too much of a risk. No, I'm sorry. No, if he had shared the role earlier in the season and actually proven that he deserves first team football against first team sides, then top class sides. Sorry. Then yeah, maybe my opinion would be different.
I just don't know how I feel about De Gea playing against West Ham after today, knowing that he has a mentality problem.
Yeah, but how do you feel about Maguire playing against West Ham? How do you feel about Lindelof playing against West Ham? How do you feel about the bloody World Cup medal winner who doesn't even check behind him when he receives the ball playing against West Ham? How do you feel about Bruno Fernandes? I'll tell you how you feel. You know they're good on their day, and you know that they deserve to be in the team over all the dead crap we have in the rest of the team. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the Romero argument because he's a second keeper and that's all he'll ever be. Caballero gets selected at Argentina more than he does. For fuck's sakes. Who's Romero? Who's Romero? Who's Romero? Does Romero even play international football? Is he even good enough to get into the Argentina goalkeeper?
No, he was not. He's number 1. He's number one. Maybe nowadays, I don't know. But like overall,
Nowadays, he's
number
not.
one.
Nowadays, not. He's not. He was number one back in the day when we bought him, but like even then, he was so crap that he couldn't make our first team, which proves my point even more. Oh, Romero's so good because he had such hard competition. There's so many great Argentinian goalkeepers who could have been in there over him. I mean,
Okay, I hear
gee,
you, but
guys,
like
to
when
make
you
the
got to
team over
United-
Caballero is hard.
When he got to United, De Gea was in his prime, so he was never making the first team.
Yeah,
He was never
that's
stopped.
my point. That is.
They
my
is not
point.
even making his national team.
The only point I'm making, I'm just worried about De Gea and mental state against West Ham.
I
just worried
know.
about the
I
rest.
understand your point. You don't have to keep repeating it. I understand your point and I respect your opinion, but I just disagree because Romero's competition is not Kepa, it's not Reina, it's not Casillas, it's not all these other great keepers like there's a Spanish keeper I'm missing now.
Yes, yes.
No, the guy I'm thinking of is German actually. Like my point is there are way better Spanish keepers and German keepers and even bloody keepers from Czech Republic because you know Peter Cech than there are in Argentina. Like if your only competition to get into the Argentinian team is Caballero, like I don't think you're good enough for Manchester United, and that's my opinion. But I understand where you're coming from, and I respect it. But you know, are you going to give him a rating after today?
De Gea, 0.
Yeah, because he did not. And you know what's funny about De Gea is he made 2 really good saves afterwards. Yeah, like that. That's what's funny about De Gea.
It's the
Like-
hard ones, the acrobatic ones. He's there for you. He'll. It's very rare, like never. De Gea concedes from range, never. But the near post, the ridiculous ones.
De Gea is the reason why there's a near post glitch in FIFA, by the way, because you know FIFA were like, oh, this guy's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. If he can't stop a goal from near post, nobody can. That's the logic. That's why FIFA 20 is such a crap game. But anyways,
I noticed that when I played people, like, why do I keep considering the near post?
Everyone in FIFA knows it. There's a near post glitch in FIFA. You know, in FIFA you don't need skill to score. Just aim near post. Just finesse shot it near post. You don't even have to put power on it and the keeper won't save it. You could be 99 rated. But anyways, I digress. Aaron Wan-Bissaka out of 10.
This man is our player of the season, but I think he's run into the ground. I honestly do. I think Wan-Bissaka and Maguire they're done for the season. I think they're done. I don't think we're going to get the insane performances that we used to from them.
I think Wan-Bissaka is worse because at least with Maguire I didn't expect much of him for 80 million. You know?
Yeah. So yeah, you know, again, and as soon as Fosu Mensah came on, to be fair to Fosu Mensah, even though the game was basically done, he instantly made that team better. So you know, again, I wouldn't have played. Bro. Yeah, and I wouldn't have played Wan-Bissaka again today. I wouldn't have played him, but he got played, and he probably will play the next game. And I think Aaron is burning out, but I'm gonna give Aaron 0.
He did. Actually, he didn't do anything offensively besides flick the ball over a Chelsea player. I was going to try to defend him there, but I can't find anything. You know, it's
I won't give him a 0. I don't think he's as bad as De Gea, but I don't know. It did offensively, nothing defensively.
He let the crosses in, though. To be fair to De Gea, he let the crosses in. De Gea should.
That's my highest score so far because you know I give De Gea a -10. So.
Yeah, but listen, it's all done to
offensively. That he was poor. I thought everything came to Wan-Bissaka's side, and there was a bit of a gaping hole there. So I'm gonna give him a 5.
5, that's kind. Lindelof out of 10.
0.
I think Lindelof was actually the better defender of all of them because Lindelof actually pushed up and was involved in interplay, unlike, you know, Maguire. But anyways.
Yeah, no. They were both poor, but he was a better defender.
Yes. He was so much better. I mean, he even stopped the cross. He even stopped the cross. Like Wan-Bissaka was left for dead, and Lindelof was the reason that ball didn't go through. But like agendas will be agendas, right? Some people just don't like Lindelof on the show, but they'll live up Pogba's ass because he has a bloody World Cup medal. But anyways, what are you giving him out of 10?
5 as well.
That's fair. Maguire out of 10.
-2. That's fair.
He did nothing right today.
Yeah.
Actually, Eric Bailey should have been first. I forgot he even played. So we'll go to him after.
I mean, I don't even know what to give Bailey, but yeah. Maguire -2. Yeah. We need a centre back. We need a centre back.
No, dude, we don't need a centre back. We need a centre back to start, and then we need more centre backs as backup. We need like 5 centre backs at this club.
If I was Smalling, I'd be laughing.
Dude.
I don't know about laughing, but yeah, I get your vibe.
Buy something.
But what you giving Maguire? What you giving Maguire?
So injury prone. A 4.
All right.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. It cut out for me. What are you giving Bailey out of 10? Because like, I think there was a point in the game where Bailey nearly actually cost us a goal. Luckily, it didn't end badly, but he did one of his Cruyff turns again, and he had to kick it out instead of just playing it the first time.
Yeah,
I thought he was very, very close to it.
The jury's out.
Every time he touched the ball, it's freaking.
Yeah, I think it's definitely out. And again, he's probably injured again. So like, it's not his fault. And obviously, I don't wish injury on any player, but he's injured again.
Oh no, dude, no. Like, hold on a minute. Like, I know some people will say that he was just unlucky today, but the guy got into 3 head collisions in one game.
Yeah, he literally.
You have to take responsibility. No, I'm sorry. Like, I've played football and I understand accidents happen sometimes. And listen, I've never played in the Premier League, obviously, but we've all played football at either indoor or either on the playground with our mates. And sometimes you have your eye on the ball. I get that. But as a defender playing for Manchester United, who gets paid over 100 grand a week, you telling me that every time you go onto the field, something happens to you? Nah, dude, nah. Like, he doesn't have any sense of what's going on around him. Nah, dude. The first head injury, I was like, whatever. It happens. It's unlucky. The second head injury, I was like, whatever. It happens. And then the third one, I was like, Maka. Like, and you could you could put some of the blame on Maguire there as well, but that was Maguire's first real error of the game as well. So it wasn't really Maguire's fault, was it? But he puts himself in these situations. I'm sorry. Like, for me, and I hope Eric Bailly gets better, obviously. You know, because when you're bleeding out your head, that's never a good thing. But come on, bruv. Come on. You know, come on. He reminds me of Pepe from Madrid. The guy used to get on my bloody nerves.
Yeah. Poor man's Pepe. That's what he is.
Ridiculous. He just needs to, you know, rock the bald head and the freaking prison cut with the tattoos. And then he'll look like Pepe.
Yeah. Like, there's something there, but then it's not worth it. So I think it's time that he moves on.
I mean, if it's just for his pace, even like, just go get Upamecano. That's I would seriously get him.
Get fucking Ake, dude, for 15 million, because Bournemouth are getting relegated. Get fucking Ake.
Get in.
You know, at least the
like I said,
cushion.
I don't know how long ago it was, but I was like, you know what, if you really want to please ask Smalling if he's willing to come back and play first team, because oh my god.
He won't do it. He won't do it. He won't promise Smalling first team football unless Smalling is the ground running. I don't know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer personally, but based on my assessment of him as a manager, he won't do it, because Lindelof has had a phenomenal season, regardless of what you think. And if you don't think so, then you probably just have an agenda. And Maguire has had a good season as well. It's just ever since the restart, he hasn't been the same player because he gets run into the ground. You know, considering the circumstances and the lack of pace between the two, they've had a great season. But I don't think Ole is going to just drop one of them for Smalling. Not Smalling. Maybe a new player. But I don't see it. I just don't see it.
So like Ole believes in this partnership and he thinks it can be great.
Other than that, I think it's just a loyalty thing. You know, he'll want Smalling to fight his way back into the team. And as I said, as everyone has said, Smalling wants first team football. So Ole won't do that. Ole won't say, hey, no matter what you're going to play. That's not how Ole works, you know, unless you prove it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he started bloody Foster Mensah over Delo, for Christ's sake. So he clearly is willing to give people a chance. It's just not guaranteed, you know. And Smalling wants guaranteed football. That's why he's in Roma. So I don't know, bro. But what are you giving Bailey out of 10? Like what do you even make of his short performance?
No.
And it's not his fault, but he could be to blame because some people say it's a blessing in disguise that we had to switch systems, but I disagree, because I think that game was a lot more level-headed when we were playing a back five. Whether that's because it was the first half and it was still 0-0 and Chelsea were pushing up, or whether that's because the back five is genuinely good, is besides the point. When Eric Bailly got injured, we had a massive drop-off. Like, forget the back five arguments and everything. When he got injured, we had a massive drop-off, and I just feel like if he doesn't put himself in those situations, fucking 50-50 on the bloody close to the halfway line with your own bloody player, Like, relax. It's not that serious, my guy. It's not in the line. You're not clearing a ball off the bloody line.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the pitch. Nothing can happen from the middle of the pitch to where that warrants you putting your own personal body that you rely on to make a living in danger. Like, God, this guy. Sometimes I question whether
check himself. Otherwise, he needs to check himself. Otherwise, he's not gonna have a good career. He's gonna be in and out of the medical. So I'm gonna give him a 4 as well.
You can't even blame this on being injury prone, because when a player is injury prone, can I just explain this concept for those of you who are struggling? Maybe you're a bit slow mentally. I don't judge. When you're injury prone, it's usually because there's a specific muscle, a specific tendon, or a specific part of your body that sustained a massive injury and it's never the same ever again. And because when it recovers, it never works the same again, you start putting strain on other muscles in that area. And so over time, you start to overwork that part of your leg. And eventually, when a player is injury prone, they get to a point where they just can't play anymore. Look at Marco Reus. He just can't play a full season anymore, no matter what, because there's certain parts of his body that just will never work the same because of the injuries over the years. With Bailey, he probably is injury prone, but the injury had nothing to do with his head. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't go down holding his hamstring again. It's a head injury. So now he's going to be out because of a different part of his body. And the jury's out for me. The jury's out. But anyways, I digress. Brandon Williams, who I thought actually was the only decent player on the pitch today, out of 10.
Again, this guy is 18 years old, and obviously we must Luke Shaw a lot. I don't think it, I think, if you had a Luke Shaw agenda and you still don't think that if you don't rate Luke Shaw still after all of these performances without him, I think you are a bit a few brain cells short there. But yeah, Brandon, again, he's so young. He never gave up this game. Like, he never gave up. He always tried going forward. He wasn't his best. Actually. Yeah, he wasn't his best defensively though, and he wasn't great. He wasn't great, and it was very poor again. Like, the whole defense was poor, but he never gave up. He showed some fight.
For a guy who hasn't played in 3 months, I think he was fucking brilliant compared to.
And he's freaking had a black eye. It was just a nightmare for freaking poor Brandon. That's all I said. Poor Brandon. But yeah, I'm gonna give him a 2. Like, actually, he had a poor performance.
Yeah.
Like, you could see the hard work, but then I can't say anything more than that. You could see the passion, you could see the energy, but
I think he's blocked a couple of crosses and he actually did something offensively. Like, I'm not saying that's enough to warrant a higher rating. I'm just putting it out there. If you want food for thought,
I think offensively he was better than he was defensively. So I'm gonna give him 5.
Yeah, I can't go in on a bloody teenager had a bigger pair of balls than most of the other players in that field.
Yeah,
Matic out of 10.
I actually thought Matic was probably. I think Matic probably did everything for me today. Defensively, I think he tried also the most. He tried linking up the most. I think Matic
for his specific role, tactical fouls.
Yeah, and I think for Matic's specific role today, he did his. He tried at his best ability to do his job today. So I'm not going to go too much on Matic. 5 out of 10. I'm not even going to give him man of the match. No one deserves it. But yeah, 5.
You. Give it to bloody Giroud. The guy loves the FA Cup.
I'm actually going to give man of the match today for Chelsea.
I agree.
No, I agree with everything Shinny said. If when I isolate his performance, he was fine. Like, he didn't do much wrong. Just the rest of the team around him wasn't up to standard. So, yeah, 6.
I think a 6 is fair for Matic, but we move on. God, I forget who. Oh yeah, Fred. Someone needs to check the guy's passport, But anyways, out of 10.
At the start, I had hope. You looked lively again. You looked like you wanted to pass the ball quick and stuff. But then,
he's running his bloody socks off like you always.
Disaster. This, I think, again, I don't know what it is. There's something in this United squad that's not right. Something is not right in this United squad. And, again, poor 3. Did nothing.
Can I tell you what it is?
Yeah, he's the reason Pogba had to come on. He couldn't do well enough.
But can I tell you what it is? I think he actually snuck into the UK and he initially snuck into Brazil as well. He's not actually from Brazil. He's from another South American country because Brazilian footballers pass a lot better than that. And He actually gave Chelsea a throw-in in the first few minutes of the game because he tried to play a diagonal ball to Wan-Bissaka
Yeah, it was
or
horrible. I
Williams, one of
remember
the
seeing
two.
that.
And I was like, nigga, like, there's no one pressing you. Why are you playing diagonal balls? Like, what? Leave it to bloody Maguire and Lindelof, bro. Like, since when do you place balls across the field? Like, God.
And the worst thing is,
Fred.
like, you know, if you those guys who before Pogba came back, Bruno was there. Like, obviously, you were there. No one else was there. You were the first team, and now you're looking at the standard that you have to play at. It's just they're not good enough. It's just not good enough. United
But
is not good enough.
I haven't been saying it about Fred because I didn't want to say it when everyone was praising him and bloody looping
No, yeah,
him up
Fred-
like he was the
Fred-
best
Fred was-
midfielder
he did
since
well. He did
Eric
well,
Cantona. But I just think when Fred was playing well, it's because he was playing well in a crap team, not because he was actually a good player. No offense. And I think that's starting to be proven right now. Like, I think he's a couple of slices short of a loaf of bread upstairs. Seriously, man. Like, you gotta be an intelligent footballer sometimes. If you don't have the technical ability, you have to make up with it with your experience at your age and your decision making. And playing a cross ball to Wan-Bissaka at Wembley when there's no one pressing you and there's 4 other options that are much closer to you, in close proximity, by the way. He could have even backheeled it because Brandon Williams was right behind him. It's just, why? Why? It's 0-0 even. Why? Well, what's the reason for that pass? Or are you feeling yourself at bloody Wembley and you want to show how you can play a cross ball? Why? What was the reason for that pass? It makes no... It's even a sideways pass, so it's not like he was passing it forward. It's not like he did a diagonal ball. No, it's a sideways pass. This man's pressing bloody square in his back forward. Press X, mate, or triangle. That's how you play the bloody game. God. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I feel like besides that moment, I feel like in the first half, it looked like he was going to have a good game. He was very active and he was making the most offensive passes, in my opinion. But as the game went on, his head dropped and he was quite poor. So I'm going to give him a 4.
It's just... Did he even do anything right, though? Did he actually complete a long-range pass?
He just ran around. That's what he did.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he completed a couple of short-range passes. I'm not going to disrespect Fred like that, you know. He is my pastor still. But, fuck, man. God's sake. This guy, someone needs to check his bloody passport. Forget Pereira, because at least Pereira has the Brazilian samba thing going. This guy, what is Brazilian about this guy, fam? God. But anyways, Bruno Fernandes out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
It's very fishy.
Also, again, you know, Bruno. He tried.
Is that
Bruno
better
tried.
because he got a goal today?
Yeah, he tried. You can see Bruno's like, guys, I'm done. I'm finished, guys. I need a sub. I want that ice bath. I want my milk. I'm finished. I'm drained. Please, guys. Please. And goodness, again, I didn't want to play Bruno today. And he played the whole fucking 90. And there goes his record.
You can't fault Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for that because you're playing 90 minutes against Wembley. Are you really going to play Pereira? Like,
no.
I don't know. I understand where you're coming from. It's unfortunate that he had to play the
it was up to me in my head, you know, Pogba, if you wanted to play. Like, I knew one of them were going to play, but like I would have done Pogba because you would have had, I think, more of a rest, you know, and he would have been less burnt out. And I think, you know, Bruno, he tried. He's just that player that got his goal. It meant nothing. Yeah. But yeah, 5.
It's tough because I feel like there's no one else in the position who makes the system work. So Bruno has to play.
If you play Pogba, right, who plays in the 10, blood? That's the problem with this bloody team. If you play Pogba, I'm all for playing one of Bruno Pogba. I'm all for resting players. But you're in an FA Cup semi-final, 90 minutes against Chelsea. No matter what you do, you're going to play the 90 minutes. Wouldn't you rather just put out a winning team and hope it goes well than just submit before the game's even started? And I just feel like Ole's hands were tied behind his back here with the Bruno decision, because it's like Pogba would have got himself hurt if he was playing with Bruno was playing. He would have tried too hard.
Yeah.
He would have tried to do everything. Distribute the ball and then get on the end of it by yourself.
They scored.
So hindsight, you know, it's bad because I still wanted to play Mata, but you know, again, it's dead food. You know, it's dead food. Besides that first.
But no, that's a good point. Let's talk about the father of the club who's on 200 grand per week. Where is he? Let's talk about this guy who's on 200 grand per week.
And it's not like Mata can't pass. He can pass.
Yeah.
Like, if you want him to link the ball,
it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. To Rashford over the top. Mata
I trust him more than Pereira and Lingard.
Yeah, I trust.
Obviously, yeah. But it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, no, just again, I couldn't believe it.
But what do you
Yeah,
give
but like I
Bruno out
said,
of 10?
I gave Bruno.
he
5.
scored something,
Oh,
and his penalties are beautiful. So I'll give him that. But besides, first half, I feel like the system played a part, in my opinion, but he was also a bit poor. And then second half, he was just poor. I can't defend him for that.
Yeah.
They weren't getting on. They weren't getting on the ball enough in the midfield. So I think it's good. The lowest rating I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him a 4. But
listen,
he
to
scored,
any
fine.
Chelsea fans listening to the show, this is gold because you'll never, ever get me brown-nosing Chelsea fan. Like, I use Chelsea shirts after I'm done taking a crap, ain't it? Like that. My bin is full of Chelsea shirts. Actually, my toilet is full of Chelsea shirts. But sometimes they clog up the toilet, so I have to throw them in the bin anyways. Chelsea actually played well defensively today. That's why Bruno couldn't get through. Like, every ball he tried to play, Chelsea actually tried to stop it. So even though we're still going to leapfrog you on the table and finish higher than you, it's that's something that you can take.
As Shinny said, like, he's not naive. He's not a chump. Like, he knew that just throwing everything again won't work against this team. It's just going to counter me. So defensively, he set them up very well. A lot like Crystal Palace. A lot like Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Rashford out of 10. Anonymous. Although he had the only clear-cut chance of the game, because at least, he was running on the end of balls.
I really thought that was a goal, but I'm not caught. No.
You can't expect
like Rashford is just Rashford is just there for hope, like hoping he does something alone. That's what the Rashford is there for. He was just
even when he took the free kick, I was like, hope.
Yeah, I was like, hope. Yeah,
Africa.
that's exactly. I'm like, okay, Bruno should take this because Rashford was taking it for hope. It is ridiculous.
I knew Bruno wasn't. When I saw Rashford doing that thing where he stands over the ball and he splits, I'm like, yes, here we go, boy, knuckleball. And then Bruno takes it, I'm like, oh, gunk.
No, I wanted to take the second one. Rashford deserves to take because I think Rashford has a way better knuckleball free kick. But oh my god, Rashford was left for dead today. I'm gonna give Rashford a 2.
They didn't do anything. Besides run a lot. I'm interested to see what you did.
I can't remember back to a memorable moment. I just don't know what he did. So I agree with the 2.
The only memorable moment was the free kick he took, which wasn't that good, and the one-on-one he had with Caballero. It wasn't really a one-on-one. It was more like a 4v1. But for the people who don't like Rashford and don't want to give him the credit for how hard that shot is, we'll call it a 1v1 that he should have scored. Dan James.
Who? Dan James. He played today.
Him as well.
No, Dan James, for real, we could have gotten back into that game a couple of times today because there was a point when Bruno and Pogba were doing their thing in the middle, and then one of them passed it to Dan James, and his first touch was so bad.
Yeah. Like
his first touch
Dan
was so
James
bad,
had
I thought a Chelsea player.
Besides pace, we probably would have done something.
Dan James's first touch was so bad that I thought a Chelsea player had actually deflected it. I was like, what? There's no way that was Dan James, right? How does the ball end up 6 feet in the air behind him when he's facing the bloody guy who passed it? But anyways,
zero.
And like when we play with the split in 2 thing, like people don't like it, but I think it works slightly better when it's Rashford and Martial. With Dan James, like, this is nothing, dude. It's just the pace. And at the point, it seemed like Bruno was playing a false 9s. I don't know what's going on in that attacking line. We didn't have an attacking line today, so I'm gonna give him a 2 as well.
He's a bloody pace merchant, blood. He's a super bike with no turning abilities. You know them way there, blood. He's only designed for drag races, blood. If you don't know what a drag race is, it's basically a straight line. It's not a circuit. You know them way there. The bike can't turn. It can't do anything else. All it's good at
someone
is being fast.
Someone needs to tell Dan James, first touch, what a step over is, right? So you do this with your leg. Teach him something.
You know what's sad? I don't think he's the only one because Fred's first touch is suspect in it, and he's a midfielder. At least Dan James is a young winger from bloody Swansea. Yeah. What's sad is there's some players in this team who are old and should know how to trap a football, but their ability to trap a football doesn't correlate with their bloody passport and work permits. But I really digress. I think that's the whole starting 11 because. Yeah. Again, what the hell are you going to give Igalo and Pogba? They did nothing.
Pogba, nothing. Garo, nothing. Tony, nothing. Again, he came on early, so.
Really, really poor performances today.
The only World Cup medalist who deserves mention today was Giroud, because Giroud actually did something, you know. And I think Giroud, giving him man of the match is really hard, because De Gea, how could you look past De Gea's performance for Chelsea? I think if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd give De Gea 10 out of 10, blood, because De Gea,
and Mike,
bro, personally, De Gea is one of my favorite Chelsea players, bro. Like no cap. I wish we bought him, you know, like from Chelsea, because like if I had a player like that scoring goals for me, yeah, bro. I mean, I would take Maguire as well, because Maguire also scored for them.
Yeah,
you know?
Maguire. Giroud
didn't do all the work himself. So we got to give De Gea 2 assists, Maguire a goal that he didn't get set up by anyone.
He did get a goal. He did get a goal. His own goal. He actually got a goal. He put it in the
wait, De Gea?
Maguire. He put it in his own net.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maguire scored a goal alone for Chelsea. So Maguire, I would take Maguire.
Yeah, like Chelsea. A Giroud finish, like the Giroud goal. That's how he scored it.
Exactly. And then De Gea assisted Giroud and Mason Mount on a goal. So I take De Gea because he's clearly a fantastic midfielder to have the vision to assist Mason Mount and Giroud from that position. Like, how do you even do it? He scored 2 goals or assisted 2 goals without even like facing the goal, dude. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, I wish I was that good. And then, you know, I'd also take Giroud as well, because he's got a World Cup medal and he scored in the bloody semi-final of the FA Cup. He clearly loves his competition, you know. But I'm trying to come up with more creative jokes to express how disgusted I am with this team, and a lot of y'all will think I'm upset.
Even before the game, I was like, I just want them to go home. I wanted my first team in spots. That's what I want.
I'm not mad. I'm just genuinely.
I will be mad. Like, I swear,
United.
United better turn up against West Ham. They better turn up. I don't know what it is, but for one game, just turn up. You know, that's all I'm asking. One game, turn up. Like, you know, today, this didn't matter for me. You know, obviously it would be nice to be in the final, but in the bigger picture for us, it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter. But listen, well, actually, I think it did matter for confidence, but yeah, it didn't matter in general. I think we'll still make top 4 comfortably. I think Chelsea against Liverpool, that really depends on how hungry Liverpool are, I guess, because Liverpool is so complacent nowadays. But Leicester choked against Tottenham, and you realize that we can draw against West Ham and draw against Leicester, and we'd still make top 4, because I think our goal difference is level with them, and head-to-head we'd win. So I ain't worried about making top 4. I think we will make top 4. I'm not going to go down the road of saying I don't see us losing to West Ham, because you never know what the mentality issues in this team. But I'm still going to give this team credit. I mean, yeah, Chelsea, like again, the run was about to. Like, the run had to end at some point as well. It did have to end at some point. But I trust my team against West Ham. And, you know, listen, Chelsea fans, Leicester fans, get all your jokes out now, because it's not going to be funny a week from now when we make top 4. Just, you know, giving you a chance in the comments down below. Write your best essay. Write your best essay in the last 7 years, because your best achievement is beating Manchester United 3-1 in the FA Cup. You know, give it to me in the comments down below, baby. Because a week from now, I'm going to spit it right back in your face when we make top 4 and leapfrog you. Just saying. And to any Spurs fans listening to the show, listen, mate, you're sick.
Well done, boys.
You're sick. Well done, boys. Well done. You'll be playing Thursday Night Football next week. Well done.
I appreciate the result today, man. I appreciate it.
To the City fans, you guys lost to Arsenal, so like, why are you bantering us for? At least we lost to a better team. You guys lost to Arsenal. And to the Liverpool fans, I hope you enjoyed the show, because I'm utterly disgusted in my team, and I'm glad that provides you with joy. Like, I'm glad Manchester United losing makes you feel a bit less comfortable. I mean, a bit more comfortable about winning your first title in 30 years, and like how embarrassingly long it took you to win a title, you know. I hope I provided some sort of joy for you, you know. But yeah, I think I covered everyone, you know. I think that, yeah, that was all teams in the top 4. Actually, I didn't talk about Arsenal. No, I meant in terms of the rival fans, you know, because... Yeah, I don't know if there's any Arsenal fans who listen to the show, but like 10th place, well done. But yeah, Ollie, what are you giving him a rating? Because I think on the one hand, you could say Ollie's tactics today was naive. On the other hand, what was Ollie going to do in the back 4? Play Fosu Mensah, Jesse Lingard, Pereira?
Listen, you know, again, like I said, the result is not what I'm disappointed about. I'm disappointed.
It's the way we played.
Yeah, the way we did it, the team selection, the tactics, and you know, I'm very disappointed about it today. You know, I've been giving him so much credit over the last few weeks, but today was not it. Today was not it. So I'm gonna give him a 5.
What you giving him, mate?
Like I don't know what I think about this back five. I'm a bit confused because I feel like we've seen it work in the past, but then I feel like the transition from the 4 to the 5, if you're not doing consistently enough, it causes a massive drop off as so today. So I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to say I don't want to see it again. So, but I understand why you played it. I understand that, and I do feel like the way you move the ball, it's been better, but there's still room for improvement. So
Yeah.
not always faults, but then partly his fault as well. So I'm gonna give him a 5 as well.
I just think if he didn't play a back five, what was he gonna do today? Because like Fred in a back four, dude, and Matic in front of a back four against Chelsea is just not enough. Like the drop off was so imminent. I know some people say we played better when we had the back four,
I feel like
or that it had nothing to do with us. You know, it had nothing to do with us. It was more just Chelsea turning on. But I feel like as soon as we switched to the back four, those crosses were coming in for free, for mahala. You know, because there was no pace in that back four, and because we were chasing the game, we
That
just
back four was
couldn't. We had
dead
too many
today.
holes. Yeah, it was dead today, and I think
Everyone
I just look at it and I'm like,
dead. That game
yes,
was
could
dead.
have, would have, should have, what if, whatever. You know, we can talk about the what ifs. We'll never know how that game would have panned out if we started with the back four. That's just the truth. We could have still gotten battered by Chelsea. Here's another truth bomb. De Gea is at fault for why that score is the way it is, because you remove two of De Gea's errors and the game ends 1-1 and we're going into extra time and we're not even doing the show right now. We might be in a penalty shootout if De Gea just puts on his gloves. That's another thing. The third thing is Chelsea genuinely defended well, and I don't see us breaking them down any better with a back four than we did with the five. Yes, Dan James maybe shouldn't have played, and it should have been Martial and Rashford. But then we're not resting players, so what's your
No,
point?
yeah, that's the thing.
You're
Yeah,
saying we
that's
should
the
have played a
thing.
stronger team against Chelsea.
I used to,
So for
I
me-
wouldn't have played the first team. Like today, I would have
Yeah,
taken a
so
loss
for me-
with no first team players.
It comes down to this, right? It comes down to this. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had two choices today: play a weak back four or a weak back five. And I don't blame him going with the back five. It's as simple as that.
the thing is, it's weird because we started with the back five, and I'm saying we shouldn't have played it. But then we did switch to the 4, and then we still played crap. So what is it at United that when the 2-0 down, let's say, they start feeling sorry for themselves? Because that's what it looked like for most of those
It looked
players.
like, it looked like United gave up.
Looked like the heads just dropped, and they were not the same team.
Because when you go 2-0 down and the other team is playing better, that's what happens. You don't challenge the 50-50s as quickly. You don't win. And then eventually it gets into your head. Listen, Manchester United played crap today because that happens. You can't play well. You can't go from being a team that loses to Burnley at Old Trafford 2-0 to a team that goes 20 games unbeaten and plays well in every single one of those games. That's just the reality. Like, you can argue at whatever angle you want, but that's just the law of averages. I think you're massively naive if you expected Manchester United to play well. So that's my opinion on that. And also what I would say is when Manchester United's players all play badly to a certain extent, you can tell that there's massive issues in this team.
There was not one good performance today.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing. There wasn't one good performance today because these players are young and inconsistent. Like, you can blame mentality all you want. You can blame us going 2-0 down. But even before we were 2-0 down, we were playing badly, according to some people. So, listen, I think the drop-off came because we switched systems and and Eric Bailly was gone. And Lindelof and Maguire just aren't quick enough to deal with Giroud, Willian, Mason Mount, and whoever else they have on their right wing. And Reece James overlapping. I don't think they're good enough because with Reece James and Alonso overlapping and having Willian, Giroud, and the other winger as an outlet, what do you do in a back five? What do you do? Because Matic is not quick enough to cover for the back four. Neither is Maguire, Lindelof. So I understand why Bailey started today to add that extra bit of pace. And when Bailey was on there, I felt like we actually blocked a few crosses. I do. Like, you go back and watch the game. When Bailey was on, we actually kept Chelsea out for a bit. And then as soon as he went off with the injury, Giroud scores a goal. Like, literally, moments after Eric Bailey gets stretched it off, Giroud scored a goal, if I need to refresh your memory. And that's what it comes down to me. Like, this team, for certain situations, just doesn't have the quality at the back to deal with it. And that's why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays a defensive 4-2-3-1.
It's not the time to slip up now, especially now. You know, after all our hard work, it's not the time to slip up. So I really hope against West Ham. Obviously, we'll do the preview, but they need to turn up. These boys better turn up.
But like, West Ham are in a much worse position than we are, so it would be inexplicable to lose to West Ham out of
like what I was a bit disappointed and I expected more was that the midfield settled down a little, and it just never did.
Yeah, but that's going to happen when a team's high pressing you, they're dominating you, they're winning. Like, these players are not robots, they're human beings, and when they're getting battered at Wembley, it's not easy to just get out of that shell. Like, look, that's what it comes down to. Fred has never played in an FA Cup final, you know? So I don't know what we were expecting from Fred. He's part of the inexperience. He's not young, but he's part of the inexperienced part. Matic has played, but again, with Matic, it was due to a lack of quality and his team just not playing well. Maguire, same thing. Lindelof, same thing. And Wan-Bissaka was off the pace today as well. Williams was off the pace today. Rashford was off the pace today, but that's partially because he was just being starved and we weren't really getting the ball up there. Bruno had a typical Bruno game. With a player like Bruno Fernandes, and I'll keep saying this, whether Bruno wins the bloody Ballon d'Or or whether we're sat here a year from now saying Bruno's a flop. Bruno Fernandes is a risk taker. He loves playing balls that don't make sense through the middle because that's the kind of player he is. He plays balls where people are like, wow, how did you see that pass? And it's like half the time it doesn't go through because that's how he played at Sporting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's high risk, high reward. Pogba's a little bit different because Pogba goes for the safe, long diagonal option or just a simple back pass. That's why he plays deeper than Bruno, because if Bruno played deeper, it would be late. So that's the problem there. If Bruno and Pogba don't play well, then you're dead food from the transition. Okay, we solved that problem. Dan James, he just ain't good enough. He just ain't good enough. And to expect Dan James to turn up today when he hasn't turned up against teams like Burnley,
since the beginning of the season, he hasn't.
Yeah, it's not gonna make any sense. So you can blame it on a lack of mentality. You can blame it on this. You can blame it on that. But at the end of the day, this team was crap before Bruno Fernandes got here, and it's clear that when Bruno Fernandes and Pogba don't play well, they're still crap. Now, is that a mentality thing or is that skill? Because having a first touch has nothing to do with mentality to me. You should be able to trap a ball if you're a professional footballer. Like, it's something you should do in your backyard without even thinking. And you can't just always blame mentality. Ooh, I've never played in a semi-final. Okay, why can't you trap the ball against Burnley? That's not a semi-final. That's just a normal game at Old Trafford. Ooh, we're under pressure because we're 19 games unbeaten. Okay. Why can't you play well against Wolves at the beginning of the season? Ooh, I've never played at Wembley. I have a mental block because we're 2-0 down and I don't really know what to do and I'm feeling uncomfortable and I haven't settled into the game. Okay, why didn't you settle into the game against Everton when they were crap? Not just at Goodison Park, at Old Trafford, by the way. When they were crap, when they were in the relegation zone and they drew with us at Old Trafford. By the way, in case you need a reminder, with that ball that bounced off Lindelof's chest and went into the goal, and De Gea was looking at him like, come on, my guy. Remember that? We were all sat here saying, we could have had 3 points, but De Gea didn't get to it. And then Lindelof, you can't blame him because it's on his chest. He can't handle the ball with his hands, and he can't go down for a header. So it went in. Again, it's an individual error. What was the problem then? Was it a mentality problem there as well? Okay, then they're just not good enough. If you're not good enough to have the mental fortitude to beat Everton, how the hell are you going to be good enough to beat Chelsea in an FA Cup semi-final when you're 19 games unbeaten? Like, we need to stop blaming mentality and confidence. Let's stop overestimating confidence. Because if you ask me, Bruno Fernandes was very confident with some of the balls he played today. It just didn't happen. You know why? Because sometimes you need more than confidence. Sometimes you actually need to be good enough. That's what I think it comes down to. And, you can argue it at any angle you want. We played a back four against Palace. We played crap. We played a back four against Southampton. We played crap. We played a back four against bloody Burnley at Old Trafford. We still played crap. So there's enough evidence to suggest that whether we play a back five or we play a back four, we could have lost to Chelsea today anyways. I don't know if you agree with me. If you don't, let me know why in the comments down below. But that's my rant
The irony
for today.
The irony is a bit priceless because before Bruno and Pogba, we struggle against teams who sit back. Now because they're so good on the ball, when teams sit back and open.
Exactly what I said at the beginning.
Nowadays, it's like when teams press up, we can't play through them. So it's so weird.
Because if Bruno and Pogba don't have a good game, especially when teams are pressing up against us, there is no other option for Manchester United, which is exactly what I'm saying. Like, people think it's rocket science. Manchester United are not good enough defensively to play with one CDM and 2 centre-backs.
But like I said,
we're not.
I don't know. I just feel like we're looking for the through ball too quickly. In terms of how we move the ball, I feel like we need to find a better balance, to be honest.
Yes, we do need to find a better balance. but we're also not good enough defensively. We do need to find a better balance going forward. We do need to get a better philosophy. I agree with you 100%, but that won't fix our defensive problems. Maguire and Lindelof are too slow. That's got nothing to do with us losing the ball in the middle of the park. They are too slow. Whether we hold the ball for an hour, whether we hold the ball till bloody Liverpool win the next title 30 years from now, Maguire and Lindelof are not fast. Do you agree or disagree? Because if you disagree, I don't know which Maguire you've been watching. I've been watching a bloody 18 million pound fridge. You know, one of them Dell fridges with no wheels, or what's another fridge brand? I don't even know. You know, the point I'm trying to make is Manchester United are not good enough defensively to play a high line back four against some of the best teams. And yes, it doesn't help that we lose the ball very quickly in transition. It doesn't help, but that's the way United want to play, because it's the United way. We play with risk, we play with flair, we bang it down the wing and we cross it in. Well, this is what you wanted. And it's clearly not working. And it's pretty obvious why, because beautiful football doesn't always win you the game. Sometimes a good old school park the bus wins you the game, you know. And I completely understand why you barely played today, because if you didn't play, fam, I'm telling you, it would have been like 2-0 in that first half. You know, Kurt Zuma would have gotten on the end of that ball, that header, that first head collision. Kurt Zuma was headering that ball, free, if he wasn't there. You telling me Lindelof would have stopped Kurt Zuma? Not a chance, blood. Not a chance, blood. Wan-Bissaka was already there, so I don't know why he didn't stop the cross. You can't blame that on a back five. I don't know what's Wan-Bissaka's excuse for not stopping crosses lately. Because even against Palace, we're playing a back four, and you saw yourself. We nearly conceded an offside goal, and we got saved by VAR. And that was with the back four against Andre Ayew. We couldn't keep Andre Ayew out. He's not even tall. So what's the excuse? He's not even physical. All you have to do is just close him down, but you can't. Why? Because he's slow. It's not rocket science, people. Wake up. This defense is not good enough. That's why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he knew what he was doing when he started this back five nonsense, because he knew he can't trust these bloody bottlers at the back. And I don't blame him. I actually don't blame him, you know. And yes, we could be better offensively, but it doesn't excuse our crappy defense. Like, we need a centre-back. For correction, we need 3 or 4 centre-backs. Because even if we buy a centre-back now, if he gets injured, it's over. So, like, we need 3 or 4 Koulibalis at Manchester United. And I don't know when we're going to get them, blood. But, like, it's sad, fam. It's sad. And the thing is, Matic can't cover the defense all the time, because Matic is old and he's slow and he can only do so much. And he also has offensive responsibilities when Pogba and Bruno aren't playing well. So, you know, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for going on this rant, but I think it's really important that people need to understand that Manchester United just ain't good enough defensively. All our good defensive performances were when we're playing with 2 deep midfielders and either 4 at the back or 5 at the back. That's just facts, bro. Like, remember when Fred and Matic were playing and they were playing really well? They were both playing as deep midfielders, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Or was I watching a different? So Oli knew what he was doing, and people wanted his bloody head on a stick for playing. Oh, it's too defensive. It's too defensive. Let's play with 1 CDM. Oh, you got your 1 CDM. Look what happened. 3-1 against Chelsea. You got your 1 CDM. I hope you're proud that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is playing with risk. I hope you're proud. You got what you wanted. You got what you wanted against Southampton as well. You saw what happens when you play a high press. This defense is not ready. Guys, I'm telling you, we need Koulibaly. But, you know, I digress. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. I hope your opposition fans enjoyed that rant. And for the United fans, hey man, stay strong. Keep your head up. We've only lost 1 game in the last 20. It's not over. We're going to make top 4. We're going to make top 4. Mark my words. And if we make top 4, if we don't make top 4, it's not the end of the world, because we can still go in via Europa League. And we have to play Las Linz, and we're 5-0 up against them anyways, on aggregate. So it's not the end of the world, man. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Don't become like Arsenal fans. Don't go from, our team's not good enough to beat Burnley at Old Trafford to, we should be making top 4, and if we don't make top 4, let's fire our manager. Don't be like Arsenal fans. Keep your head up. We will be fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, unless you guys have anything else to say. God, I don't know why
I lived in England and I seen the hair clot him. That's what I said.
Shouldn't give you a life sentence because the hair cost us the FA Cup.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, I've always been like, you fix his issues and they'll work on it, but I don't know where I am right now in the hair.
Fam, let me, this is the last thing I'll say, I promise. You know, for those of you that have made it this far, you're a legend. But with regards to the hair, I'll say the same thing, you know, and that Jose Mourinho has nothing to do with this, but I'll bring Jose Mourinho in it to illustrate my point. People say Jose Mourinho is going to prove us wrong because Jose Mourinho is going to change. He's going to play a new playing style at Tottenham. He's going to become positive. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. As a professional footballer, you can't just wave a magic wand and say, I'm going to change. You actually have to do things to change. You have to work with sports scientists, sports psychologists. You actually need to keep evolving your game. And with De Gea, he's obviously a professional footballer who's trying very hard to be the best goalkeeper he can be because that's his job. But at the end of the day, it's similar to the Jesse Lingard situation. Sometimes it's done. Sometimes the relationship just wasn't meant to be, dog. Sometimes you just got to move on. Like, De Gea is not going to magically go back to the keeper he was unless he sorts out his attitude and he wants to stay at Manchester United, both consciously and subconsciously. And that's just the truth, bro. Like, because we know De Gea is better than letting those balls in from Mason Mount. Like, we've seen him make world-class saves. Those of us who watch him know he's not that crap. So what other explanation is there for him making those mistakes, especially the one against Mason Mount? It must be a psychological issue, and you don't just wave a magic wand and say, oh, guys, I've changed, I'm Mr. Positive now. It doesn't work like that. You have to actually do things to work on it, and I just don't think De Gea is there yet at his age, to be honest. I just don't. Like, where's the evidence to suggest that he's going to change? Because his attitude has gotten worse and worse since he signed that new contract. It's not improving, you know. But that's just my 2 cents. But, you know, leave a like on the video. Please do subscribe. I'm going to cut this one short before it goes on too long. Peace out.